Hello, everyone. Welcome back or welcome to Recovering Out Loud, the podcast where we get real about mental health and addiction recovery. Today's guest is Jordan Quinn, a sober entrepreneur and founder of Team Spirits, a premium alcohol-free RTD cocktail brand. In this episode, we get deep into the conversation about non-alcoholic beverages, the sober curious movement, why quitting drinking doesn't mean quitting fun, the real reason you reach for a drink after work, and how passion plus purpose can save your life. We dive deep into addiction, identity, entrepreneurship, and why non-alcoholic drinks are exploding across North America. If you've ever wondered what would life be like without alcohol, this one's for you. Please like, follow, and subscribe to help support the show. I want to add a disclaimer to this episode as well. We talk about 12-step recovery. Please keep an open mind. We realize that there are many paths up the recovery mountain, and we do not endorse or represent any program or organization. It is simply an experience that works for us. Enjoy the show. Hi, Jordan.
How are you doing?
I'm doing well, thanks. Thank you so much for coming in. I really appreciate, I have to say this because I messaged you, I reached out to you online, and I love what you're doing. I love what you're doing with Team Spirits. I'm very interested in this non-alcoholic beverage trend. Seems to be really growing, and there's a whole, people are throwing all these like vernacular at me that I've never heard. Like you said something yesterday, like I forget what you said, but it'll probably come up. But like this sober movement, right?
100%.
Sober curious, I kind of knew, but I've heard that
sober
one.
Serious,
Sober serious,
drinking.
mindful drinking. That was the one.
It.
Mindful drinking. I was like,
yeah. There's a whole mindful drinking fest now, like a festival that you can go to where it's all of it was in DC this year.
And so what have you been?
I haven't been, but we actually go right into plugging my product.
Yeah, let's go. Yeah. Let's get to the real deal.
Team Spirits.
I love it.
We partnered with Derek Brown, who actually owns Mindful Drinking Fest. And so Derek Brown is a famous mixologist based in the States, based in DC. And he's all about mindful drinking, really comes from the hospitality world, was a bartender for years, and kind of helped us create our beverages. But yeah, so he has this whole mindful drinking fest, which is all about, adaptogen beverages and kind of all these different types of beverages and different ways to sort of socialize.
And the adaptogen, I knew this because I was talking to somebody else. I'm learning so much again.
Yeah.
There's these beverages that have like ashwagandha in them and all these like nootropics, if you will.
Yes, all of that. Now, Team Spirits doesn't have any of that. For us, it was really about like a flavor first beverage that really mimicked a cocktail, like a classic cocktail with still adult beverage and stuff like that. But yeah, there's a ton of that going on right now. The caffeine. I may have had one just before I got here. I'm like, woo! But it's amazing how you're actually able to kind of do a ton with drinks these days.
That's awesome. Yeah. And I know that there was some like negative press around it in the beginning with TikTok and stuff. She was telling me this, the lady that owns Sober Market. And she was telling me that all these TikTok people were like, oh, you're going to get buzzed off of this stuff if you start drinking it. And as soon as she started talking about that, I was like, okay, I need to stay away from that. But I mean, it's probably not the case, right?
You know what? I consider myself completely 100% sober serious. And I still will have an adaptogen drink. Now, I'm not going to have any of these like mushroom this or that, but like some of these adaptogen drinks that have, again, caffeine or ashwagandha or anything like that, you don't get a buzz. You just get I'm going to say the word high, but in a very, just like a lifted.
Yeah, like a lightness almost.
Happy. Yeah, but not in a.
Yeah. And what it's probably doing is just calming your anxiety that you didn't know was even there in the first place.
Trust me, I know it's there, but yeah.
Well, that's because you've done a lot of work, though, I would assume, right?
This is true.
So why don't you tell us a little bit about, I guess, how you got into recovery, and then how you got into the non-alcoholic beverage market.
100%. So, Anthony, I always say I had the gift of desperation.
I love that. Yeah, that's a good one.
The gift of desperation. I had no other choice but to get sober. The longest story short, I got into a drunk argument with my brother-in-law, who means the absolute world to me. So this is my sister's husband, my younger sister's husband, which I'm not married. So it starts this whole like reason for my drinking and stuff like that. But nevertheless, my brother-in-law has his own story with addiction and alcohol addiction, and within his own family. He lost someone very, very close to him due to alcoholism. And he was sort of picking up on all my signs. I couldn't hide from this guy anymore. And he just said, you know, you done? And I just one day said, yeah, kind of to appease him. And then what happened was he marched me to a meeting. I pre-drank for it, of course.
That's the best way to prepare.
Got it. Yeah, I was like, I know what I know. So I showed up buzzed. But then I learned about the freaking chips that you get at these meetings. And the addict that I am, I wanted those chips. So I couldn't go up and get one, my 24-hour chip, of course, because I showed up wasted. But it became the reason to get sober. I wanted to collect all 12. I wanted to be on a pedestal. I wanted to be this like golden child that my parents always thought that I was again. And so 24 hours later, I showed up to a meeting in Port Perry, all my family in tow, my mom, my dad, my brother-in-law, my brother, like all came to this meeting. And I went up and got my 24-hour chip, and I have been sober for 587 days since.
That's awesome. Wow.
Yeah.
What a great story.
Thanks.
They were probably so happy to see you get that.
Oh my God. Tears coming down my parents' face. It was huge.
I remember you're reminding me of I had told you this, and I say this all the time, but just for context, I had 7.5 years of sobriety, and my 1 year medallion, I invited my entire family, all my extended family, my cousins, and everybody showed up. Some of my friends that had seen me, I know, it was amazing. And they filled up, because I'm Italian, right? We're big. We run deep.
Yeah.
They filled up the first 3 rows of a 200 person, meeting. And it was just a beautiful thing. I remember them, and I'm not that close with all of them. So it was a bit of a kind of uncomfortable situation for them, because they I don't think they knew that I was in this recovery path. They knew it got kind of bad, but some people don't really know just the depths of addiction and where you got to, right?
Yeah. Now, did you speak at your medallion?
No, I said,
you didn't do this.
I didn't give the talk. You know who did though? It was my the counselor that he saved my life. A lot of people saved my life, but he got me into my first treatment center.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I actually spoke at my 1 year medallion, and I started practicing that speech a week sober. I was like in the, I'm in the shower, washing my hair, being like, it's a freaking Oscar acceptance speech. But,
oh, we're so alike. I love it.
No ego.
Not at all. No, nothing surrounding addiction. So, how did you get into to start Team Spirits? How did that come about?
Yeah. So, I am a serial entrepreneur. I'm also learning that is very much an addiction. Not an ism, but an addiction. Yeah.
I get that. Yeah.
It's part of that. So, serial entrepreneur. Owned a branding and social media agency, worked a little bit with my dad as a contractor, and we started working with somebody that was doing a non-alcoholic wine. And my dad does something called a 5C analysis. So he looks at the customer, the consumer, all of those kinds of blah, blah, blah.
Business jargon.
Business stuff. And he's like, looking at the category going, this is the third fastest growing category in the U.S. right now. Why are
this was a year ago?
Yeah, this was a year ago. Okay. So 2024. And my dad goes, why are we not, I'm like, doing this? So we, within a month, got everything in order to start Team Spirits. The name, super important to me. I think that, as you just said, a bunch of people help save your life. Sobriety is such a selfish individual journey, but you need that team around you to support you. So that's where Team Spirits really comes from.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And it's just been an absolute blast ever since. We're actually launching, if this airs next week, we're launching the week after. So it's super exciting.
And you're in the U.S. too, right?
U.S. and Canada, baby. Yeah.
And so is it more brick and mortar sales that you're looking forward to, or online? That's kind of
brick and mortar for sure. So right now we're projected to be in about 50 to 60 stores in the U.S. and then about 30 to 40 here in Canada, just to start for year one. We'll see how that goes. A lot of those non-alc bottle shops that are popping up everywhere are really interested in specialty retail. Is really exciting for us as well.
So where else besides the non-alcoholic shops did they sell them? Because I didn't even know.
So like think of like your high level grocery stores, like Sunnyside Provisions, for example, or like Creed's, or the Hut, which is a smoothie and juice bar, Village Juicery, like anything like that, where there's kind of that like really cute fridge in the corner, like we're kind of stocking up there.
Yeah.
So it's
okay, that makes sense. And I wouldn't be surprised if like the Longos or Sobeys or starts to get involved.
If you're watching this.
Do it. Yeah. No, it's. I mean, you said it's the third fastest growing a year
category
ago?
in the U.S.
Wow.
Yeah. So
that's a big deal.
It is a big deal, and I don't know if you saw some of the stats too, Anthony, but like non-alc as a beer category is the second largest beer category now. Next to IPA. I think I'm not a beer drinker, but I think that was the stat I saw on a very reliable source, Instagram.
Yeah. That's awesome. Who are the customers? I'm always curious and I've always asked this because I had this preconceived notion because everybody thinks like me, don't you know?
Oh, yes,
and everyone does things the way I do them, right? I was under the assumption that it was people in recovery, but I'm like pretty wrong in saying that, right?
Yeah. So I have to just plug this because of the 5C analysis. My dad always is like, there's a difference between customers and consumers. So the customers, of course, are the stores that are purchasing from us. So the consumers, Daddy, are the definitely we're finding that we're getting the sober curious for sure. People who just want to kind of, there's called zebra striping. Have you heard of it?
No,
where like you drink an alcoholic drink and then you drink a non-alcoholic drink and then you drink an alcoholic
to like
drink.
mitigate the hangover.
Kind of mitigate the hangover. Got kids in the morning. Gotta go golfing. Just don't really want the hangout, not the hangover.
Yeah.
Kind of deal.
I like that.
Yeah, the toast, not the toxins kind of idea. So those people are doing their zebra striping. They're big. They're a big client of ours. Yeah, you're going to get the sober serious people that aren't too serious, too programmed, because at the end of the day, it can be a trigger for some people, especially something like Team Spirits, which is a flavor first beverage, which is definitely, emulates the flavors of a Paloma, a Mule, and an Aperol Spritz. It really is, just without the alcohol. So you're going to get the mindful drinkers as well, just people who are, wanting something lower calories, lower sugar. So we really do have this wider audience. Pregnant people.
Yeah, that's a big one. I'm finding.
Yeah.
See, and I like to say this too. For me, I have to be very clear of my motive when I'm purchasing and consuming these types of beverages. Cool. So, for example, today, this might change, right? Today, I don't mess around with the non-alcoholic beer just because it's so similar to me. And I had a problem with beer where I couldn't just have one. Can you relate to that at all?
My favorite drink is the next drink.
Yeah. So today, plus I don't even like the taste of beer, right? But these like, these seltzers and soda waters and, a little bit of sugar here and there, that's just refreshing, right? Like it turns out I didn't want alcohol. My body just wants something refreshing, I heard someone tell me that the other day, probably on one of my other podcasts. But it's true. It's like, like, when I can listen to my body today and just actually say, no, I don't want vodka soda. Like I just need something refreshing because it's hot.
I just want this.
Yeah.
I want the liquid to lips kind of like it's a hot summer's day, like something like poolside. It's just funny, Anthony, because there's so many like instances where we have alcohol in our hands and it just becomes almost habitual for us. It's like after work, I just want to go to the fridge. I just want to reach for that drink and like take off the edge. It's like, do you really want to take off the edge or do you just need a drink? And that's where it's kind of, there's an opportunity there to fill your glass with something a little bit more, a little bit less harmful.
Where you'll thank yourself the next day and maybe that night too, right?
100%.
It's like smoking, right? Like how the studies have shown that it's a lot of it is just this, I need to be preoccupied with something.
Exactly. There's something else going on there. And it's funny you mentioned smoking because my dad actually smoked for 25 years and quit cold turkey.
Wow.
And is now, I guess it's probably been 20 years since he had a cigarette.
Jeez.
And I think to myself, everyone says that alcoholism is hereditary. And I would argue that sobriety is full on contagious. But with that in mind and thinking just about addiction, and I thought to myself, I really used my dad quitting smoking as a huge leverage point for me with alcohol too. I'm like, my dad did this cold turkey. I can totally do this. It's in my blood. Like I remember really convincing myself of that along the way.
And that helps.
It helped me. Yeah.
That's amazing. So, what kind of daily habits or rituals do you use? Because I know the work life, the entrepreneurial life can be very stressful, time consuming, up and down. Yeah, you don't really know what's going to happen next, unpredictable. And I don't know about you, but we like to have control and predict things.
Yes.
I like to know the outcomes of things.
Yeah, we like
right?
chaos sometimes too. So
Crave chaos.
Yeah,
crave it.
chaos.
Because it's a distraction. I always say that. It's a distraction from how I feel about me, you know? Yeah, I learned that in rehab.
So you didn't go to rehab, but I should have maybe.
Yeah. Well,
learn some key takeaways.
Yeah, I mean, I needed to because I just couldn't do it, but yeah, I wish I didn't, right? Obviously, but I learned a lot there. There's a lot of good that happened there.
Amazing.
And so, yeah, through journaling, I learned that like I
you still
crave
journal?
chaos. Yeah, I do.
Yeah, good
every
for
day.
you.
So, yeah, what kind of tools do you use to balance that kind of sober recovery life with this work life? Go.
Yeah, it's funny you say that. When we were talking about kind of creating like patterns and stuff like that in your day, I've got 2 dogs. One is on my can. On my team spirit can, Pierre and Bella. And so having them and getting them into a routine has really helped me with like creating just predictability in my day.
Yeah.
So it's getting them out. I can come back and sit at my laptop for a couple hours, blah, 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 blah. Like I don't need to necessarily walk you through my day. I think what's important to me, again, I am in a program that's very focused on gratitude. And for me, I can avoid anxiety throughout the day, or at least manage my anxiety throughout the day if I start every day with gratitude. Yeah. And for me, that's just kind of connecting with, my dad actually made this suggestion, you know, obviously my dad's a huge part of my life, but, on the inside of a book that I have, every day I write down 3 things I'm grateful for. I just start my day like that. And the thing is when you're writing down those 3 things, you actually can see what you wrote days before. And it's like, wow, this list is getting longer, you know, and I've got a lot to be grateful for.
I have a lot of good things in my life.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to notice sometimes, especially.
Yeah.
It's funny you mentioned that because I do that too. It wavers, but I always have some kind of routine. And this morning, it's funny, I woke up and I was just in one of those agitated moods for no reason. You know, my sleep was a little bit off. I woke up and this is what I notice happens when it throws off my morning. When I pick up my phone before I do anything else. And I'm going through this thing right now just to get current where I'm like obsessing, and I need to like figure this out, and I'm going to, but I'm obsessing over like my social media channel and this podcast and getting followers and I'm like, oh my God, this is so exhausting. But also like, I know this deep down, but I always go back to it. That needs to be a byproduct of what I'm doing here, right? It can't be the reason. Otherwise I'm screwed. Like it'll never last. That motivation will run out because the minute someone unfollows me, I'll be like, that motherfucker, right? Like what? I must have done something wrong. Something's wrong with me, you know? All these thoughts start to go through my mind, right?
It's relying on other people to make you feel a certain way about
Codependency.
yourself. Codependency.
Yeah, I'm good at that.
Oh, yeah. Same. Just ask my boyfriend. Yeah.
You like me, right?
I'm like,
yeah. I need other people to love me to feel good about myself.
And I hate that. You know, it's chasing those vanity metrics, those follows, those likes, those comments. And if that is what's bringing you joy, like I mean, I'm the same way. Like I'm refreshing because I just, post a new photo and you go, it's a lot.
Yeah. And it's just like, it's like, we always talk about this on my podcast, but you get to it, you get the car, you get the, boat, you get the house, you get the kid, like maybe not the kids, but you get that next thing. And it's like, now I want to.
Yeah.
Right?
What's the next thing?
This is kind of.
Before you know it, you're on a TLC show.
Yeah. Eating couches.
Yeah, exactly.
I saw that was one of them. The girl, she couldn't stop eating the inside of couches. Yeah, I was like, holy. Yeah, that's a condition. It's sad, but yeah, no, I belong there. No, it's funny. Oh, I love it. But yeah, so my point with that story was I did get out of it, and this is kind of this works every single time. I went for a walk. Right. And I got outside, I got out of my head. I also do this online meeting every morning with a bunch of guys, and I was sitting in it and we do a meditation thing with it. So it forces me to meditate, but I was so in my head that I couldn't even pay attention. I was doing 10 things and I'm like, I need to get outside.
I can't meditate.
It's tough. Right?
Walking is probably the closest thing I can.
Yeah. And it's the same thing, honestly, because I got outside and I'm like, and I'm looking around, I'm listening to music, and of course the song you love eventually comes on, or the song you needed to hear comes on, and you're like, God, thank God I'm alive. And all these things start to, you know, so that's what I did to get out of it. You know, it's a beautiful thing that I have a choice today. You know, my only option used to be drink or use drugs, right?
Yeah.
That was the only option to solve pain. And now I have a choice. I could always go back and do that. I know that, right? I don't really agree with this notion where people come in and they say, I can't drink today, right? Or I can't do drugs. It's like, well, no, you can. You have a choice. You're choosing not to, which is more powerful.
I get to be sober today is how I like to frame things for myself.
Yeah, I love that. So how do you think that this whole trend is reshaping the drinking culture? Like, do you think people are buying into it? Do you think, because there still is going to be that stigma, and where you're out at a bar, and I've had this before. We were talking about it yesterday, actually, in my alumni meeting that we do at rehab. One of the guys was talking about how the bartender he used to, you know, go to, asked him, she's like, oh, you're not drinking anymore? What happened? And he's like, oh no, I just don't really drink. You know, you get that uncomfortable. You don't, how much do I tell this person, right? I go all out. I tell them
I'm like, okay, so like,
I almost died.
Here's my blood type. Yeah.
You want pictures? Yeah. I'm like, that's me on the floor right there. But yeah, he was like, you know, he's newly sober, and he's telling her that. And she made one of these, and I've had this happen to me, where she was just like that kind of like, you know, fucking loser laugh. And he was like crippled by it.
Yeah. Haven't had that yet, but I can imagine people are saying that about my Instagram. I haven't seen it. Yeah. I don't know. There's always going to be naysayers no matter what you do. But I can tell you, like, we would go to, when I was helping with the non-alc wine for a little bit, I know that we were at like an event, and we were pouring wine, and there were people making comments about like, well, why would I have this? It's grape juice. All I can tell you is the younger generations are proving that they are drinking less and less. Unfortunately, they're picking up things like vaping and stuff like that. However, fortunately, they're picking up things like vaping, you know, like as opposed to drinking. So I know that there really is this like complete wave and movement when it comes to the non-alc category. Again, third fastest growing category in the US right now. So
I'm seeing it too. You know, you're seeing it online, but also there's just when you go to parties, like people aren't. Maybe it's because I'm in recovery again, but I'm not seeing people blacking out anymore, sloppy. Like it's less and less. Maybe it's the people I'm surrounding myself with.
You've gone home before they do that.
Yeah, that too. Yeah, there's a moment if you don't know this, if you're listening, you don't know this. There's a moment in every club, bar, event where there's like this threshold in the night that everybody turns from human to zombie. It's like it's like 2-3 a.m. There's no science behind it yet, but I'm sure of it.
100%. No, there's got to be science somewhere with that. Yeah, no, it's very true.
And everything just like turns, right?
Morphs.
And you're like, who's that guy? I didn't even notice. Right? Especially true when you go to clubs. And I love dancing, so I still go to clubs and I notice it. Where do you think this is going? Like, what do you see in the future with this trend? How do you see this ending up, or where does it go?
I'm putting it out there that I think drinking alcohol will be what cigarettes was. I
actually agree with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I believe that is where this is going. The thing is like, we don't want a freaking Coke, like Coca-Cola. Yeah. We don't want a can of Coke. We don't want a juice box. We want an elevated adult drink. So I think that's where there is room for like a non-alc cocktail, like a mocktail, so to speak. But I think ethanol and alcohol, I think being removed from those, or at least like in lower quantities, is here to stay. Because it's not a fad, it's an upward trend that's here to stay, is how I'm looking at it.
It's funny that I'm happy you brought that up, because I've had that thought too.
The cigarette thing?
I've had that exact revelation where I was like, I bet you there's going to be science and data, and everyone's going to be like, we never should have started drinking. Right?
Yes. Well, you know what really sucks, Anthony, is like, I think about the messaging behind like smoking kills, and then it's like, please drink responsibly. It's like, okay, but what if I can't? Like, I don't know how to drink responsibly. I'm that person, I swear to God, where if I left a restaurant and someone left a half drunk glass of wine on the table, I'm like, is it weird if I go drink that? Like, probably. Like, it's a first date, Jordan. Behave. Like,
just make it to the second or third. I love it.
But that's awesome. No, I think messaging needs to shift for alcohol. I love that we're putting warning labels on alcohol in the States now. That was announced back in January, I believe.
What does that say? I haven't heard of that.
I don't know exactly what it says, but it was the health man.
Yeah, like
in the US.
is it the general surgeon? Maybe
that's
it. Yeah,
it.
because they have that on cigarettes. Yeah,
yeah. General surgeon.
And it just has like a warning on it, like
warning
a black
label
label.
On all alcohol
Really?
is being issued. I think it has to be on all alcoholic products by the end of next year.
Wow, I'm learning something every day. That's
You're
awesome.
So welcome.
I've learned. This is why I came down here. No, I've learned a lot. This is great. I mean, that's smart. It's important how we market things to people, right? Like
100%.
We shouldn't have doctors promoting smoking.
No, I think it's.
I think there's a good reason that's stopped.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's crazy. You go back and you see all those ads, right? Man. Do you have any tips for people that are listening? People that are maybe sober curious or they think they have a problem with their drinking. Like, what helped you in the beginning?
Other than the chips, for me, I'm going to say it, and I know it's really kind of cheesy, but your new life is going to cost you your old one. Kind of coming to terms with that a little bit, was really difficult for me in early sobriety. But then it's like when you reframe it from what we were just talking about, Anthony, where it's like, I don't get to drink. It's like, no, I get to be sober. You reframe it. And like, you never regret a night that you didn't drink.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Like I'm going to sound so program at this moment, but like, just try it today and then just see how long it can kind of go for. Again, you have that choice at the end of the day. It's something you can go back to. I read this amazing, amazing short essay about like, this stranger asked a sober woman, like, well, what if you want to drink at your wedding? And it's like, but I want to do this forever. Like, and it's the way that she reframed. Sorry, I'm not making sense.
No. You're making so much sense that I have goosebumps. I'm sorry. I'm making faces at you because I've had this exact thought.
Yeah. Like if you want to drink at your wedding, what if, I'm not going to lie to you. I have moments where and I want to knock on wood, but like I haven't lost someone super close to me. I haven't had that level of grief yet. And it's hard because I go, what do I reach for? What tool do I have in my toolbox that I can reach for that isn't alcohol when I lose a parent, a partner, a sibling, like whatever it may be?
When life happens.
Yeah. Because I would pick up when it was a joyful moment, a happy moment, a sad moment, like no matter what it was, there was a reason that I would pick up, like, and then it just became daily, right? So just try today, I think is what I'd go
I don't think that's cheesy at all. I mean, those slogans, sayings, mantras, there's a reason that they exist, and there's a reason why they're pasted on the wall, because they work, Yeah. It's just funny because I didn't know what face to make because I hadn't really, it's been a while since I've heard someone else say that to me. And when I first came in, 10 years ago, that was a ruminating thought in my mind. How am I gonna not drink on my wedding day? I cannot fathom that. And every single person that I surrounded myself with in recovery said that to me. Anthony, just get through today, man. Just get to bed. And I used to hate it. I hated it. I was
it's still
I like the plan.
Yeah, exactly. And this whole, again, feel free to cut this out, but like the let go and let God thing, like what? Like how? Like what? Like I have to, I have to be the one that controls this and I need to be the one. And it's like, no, just don't drink today. Sounds good. Yeah. I can do that.
Yeah. You mentioned control is a big one, but letting go. What is that? It's funny because it's hard to describe it too, but I guess I want to get your opinion on what does letting go look like today?
And it's so funny you're asking me this. I could break down and cry because it's the hardest part of my sobriety. Yeah. I still haven't figured it out. Letting go is understanding it's the serenity prayer for me. It's, accepting the things I cannot change and having the courage to change what I can, but identifying, you know, what is mine to take on and what is just, it's just not mine.
Yeah. Yeah. The wisdom to know the difference.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. Yeah. It's tough to get there sometimes, right?
Yeah. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
Can I turn it on you and ask you what letting go
yeah,
looks
sure,
like too?
please. Yeah. I mean, this is an open conversation. No one ever does that. And I appreciate it.
No,
I like
I'd
to
love
talk.
Yeah.
When I started the podcast, they were like, yeah, you have to be a good listener to be a podcaster. I was like, oh, maybe I made a mistake here. I suck at listening, but no, it's teaching me a lot. Letting go. Yeah. You mentioned a lot of it there, but if I could just say one extra thing on it, I'd probably say, and I learned this from literature that we read and talking to people, right? But doing what's in front of me, so the next right thing in front of me, and then letting go of the outcome, right? So just doing the next right thing, you know, doing this podcast today, putting the podcast out there, going home and, you know, telling my wife that I appreciate her, right? When it's not my first thought, you know, not acting on my first thought. That's a huge one, right? When I leave here, I'm going to go sit in traffic. And if somebody cuts me off or I have a million things in my mind that I want to do to get that guy or girl back. Like, I'm going to win this, and it's all ego, right?
Yeah.
So it's like just taking a breath and like, okay, no, don't do that, Anthony.
Yeah.
Don't say that.
No, I get it. No, I totally get it. I hear you. I'm with you on that. The next right thing.
Yeah. And it's, sometimes it can be hard, right? That's why, like, and I'm not going to cut out the spirituality thing because I think it's important.
Me too.
Religion is very different than spirituality. A lot of people come in like, oh, I don't like God. He killed my brother or something, right? And I don't mean to make light of that, but it's true. Like, I hear that a lot. A lot of people are like, God let me down. And, you know, that's fair, right? If you've had a tough upbringing or a tough life or things have happened to you that are out of control, that's like a common thing to do is like, it wasn't caused by you, right? So there's a lesson in every opportunity, I think, and adversity is so important in my life today. Like, I wouldn't be here without it, because when I get through when I get through hard things, I can do anything, right? And that's one of the reasons. So it's funny you mentioned like just being, you know, getting all into something, right? This entrepreneur thing that you're all into. I got into marathon running for a while,
every sober person does that.
It's a thing.
Is it a thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I ran 3 marathons, and I used to hate
marathons?
running. Yeah.
Good for you.
Yeah, it was like, I know, I couldn't even imagine doing that before, right?
Runner's high.
Yeah, I went to LA and I did the LA marathon with my friend Mike. Yeah, it was
good
awesome.
for you.
It was great, and you know, I don't really miss it too much because it took up a lot of my time, and it was very intense. You know, I was eating all the time. There's like a lot of things that came with it, and again, I need balance in my life today. You know, I did that with golf too.
Balance. I was a bodybuilder. I totally understand the all in.
Yeah. Did you do the meal prepping and stuff too?
Yeah. I was at provincials.
Oh, you went on stage?
Oh yeah. Did
God,
I ever?
that's like the same as running a marathon, honestly.
It was very similar, I think, from what I hear.
Because it's 90, like it's 100% of the time you have to be on.
Yeah.
With your eating,
your workouts, your 2 days. It's just, it's a lot.
I'm interested. How did you come back from that? Because that, like, your relationship with food must have been.
Well, oh my gosh, this is where I get crazy. But again, I lean into the isms of the program, and I learned so much about me and just my addictive behaviors. I have struggled with an eating disorder. So getting into something like bodybuilding was actually not a healthy choice for me at all. How did I bounce back? I started getting into running after I finished. I didn't want to go on the national stage. I stopped at provincials. I did get into running myself as well, kind of maintained fitness, but then my drinking took off. The funniest thing is you don't drink when you're on prep, which is another thing I leaned into. You know, there are periods in my life where I was successful that I did not drink, and that really helped me as well. But
helped you know that you could do it. Yeah.
But yeah, my drinking really took off after a year or so after I finished.
There's always something, right? It's like, you know, I always say this, but it's like as addicts, we have 6 garbage cans and 5 lids, you know, it's like Whac-A-Mole.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, I heard that in Utah when I was at my second treatment center. It's true. And I'm always looking for something. It's golf one day. Now it's this podcast. It just has to be something healthy. And you have to learn how to balance it.
Yeah. No, I love that. Well, for me, it's team spirits right now as well.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. It's passion, right? I mean, I always like, it's hard to like, finding passion is important, I think, in sobriety, right? Yeah. This one kind of found you a little bit, right? But
I think that it's one of those things, and it feels like this podcast is it for you as well. It's the cornerstone of your passion and your purpose. Absolutely. And when you marry those two, like at the end of the day, like social media management and influencer marketing and brand development, like that wasn't necessarily my passion and my purpose. Yeah. Like sobriety has very quickly become like what I believe my purpose is. I know that I stayed out of those rooms for a very long time because I didn't believe that I looked like an alcoholic. I'm too young. I'm too female. I'm too this, too that, too this, too that. And I am not an alcoholic. So if I can now be that person that people can look at and be like, oh, I'm in my 20s, my drinking's a little out of control, and they can see me and then they can feel more comfortable sort of self-diagnosing and identifying as an alcoholic, then my work here is done, you know? Yeah.
I couldn't agree more. I couldn't really relate to the old white guy when I walked in, right? Like it was hard to kind of, I was like, you're wearing a suit. Like you're not an alcoholic, you know? Yeah. Alcoholic, to your point, is the guy that lives under the bridge.
With the brown paper bag.
Right. And it's not true. This disease does not discriminate whatsoever. I learned that time and time again. And it's important. What you said, something that I really liked. The cornerstone,
passion and purpose.
Yeah, can you say that again?
Yeah, so I feel like this podcast for you is what Team Spirits is for me, where it is the cornerstone of my passion and my purpose.
Passion and purpose. And then you said marrying those two together.
Yeah, and that's where the magic happens, I think.
Yeah, I think this finding the purpose thing is so important. And like we both do, but I can only speak for me. I have a unique gift to offer somebody, right? There's, I don't know, like 80%, 90% of the world, probably 80% don't know what it's like to have to drink and have to use, despite all the negative evidence, you know, everything toward the contrary. I have to. That thing tomorrow, that wedding that I have to go to, that speech that I have to give, that engagement party I have to show up to, you know, that wedding I have to be a best man at, doesn't matter. Nothing matters, right? My wife begging me to stop, right? Like just my mom begging me to not die. She's scared I'm going to die. None of that matters. Right?
Doesn't matter at all.
It's it's cunning, baffling, and powerful, like you said. But yeah, you have to get to the gift of desperation. You know?
Yeah, it's true. Yeah. You kind of struck a chord there with me, and now I've lost my train of thought. But it's maybe it'll come back to me.
I talk a lot.
No, I like when you talk. I get a lot out of what you're saying.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you. Everything I learned is from other people. Everything. And, you know, I was talking about this last night, but this first year of sobriety is so important. And I knew that, but now it's being reconfirmed. You know, there's a lot of people in my life. You go to rehab, you stay close with the people after. A lot of them relapse. And
that's so hard.
It's really tough because it's like, and I was saying this to my mom the other day, it's like you have the answers to the test. It's this analogy if I can. And the other person is writing the test and you're like yelling the answers at them. And they're just like, no. Right. And then not to say that I have the answer to sobriety, but like I have a way out know, today. I have a way out. Right.
And it's the same, you're writing the same test.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we have the same answers. I love that. I don't know about you. I actually really struggled with, I never went to rehab. That was never part of my story, but in my program, my sponsor went out. My sister sponsee went out again. And it's so hard for me they then became a part of my fourth and fifth stat. I was resentful. I was mad. I was like, but then it's not, I'm not writing their story. You know, it's hard. It's very hard.
Yeah. Do you feel like you're angry at them because they know, because when you've been on the other side, it's I guarantee you they were more angry at themselves. And I know you know
they
that.
Were 100%. And then it takes 2 seconds to look at them coming back in and you know, very upset. And you go, this disease, the only thing I can kind of compare it to is take your phone, leave it in another room and come back and sit there and tell me how many times you think about it in an hour. Like that's the closest thing that the normal person can probably get to addiction, you know, like it's all encompassing. It's all overwhelming.
Yeah. I love that. I never heard that one before. And it's like, yeah, try to go through your day while your phone is at home, right?
Yeah.
It's just like all you're thinking
Go through your day
about.
and you're like, yeah, I can't even grasp that. And that's what alcohol was for me.
But I also like that you mentioned the gift of desperation because just to finish my point, and I'm I'm happy you jumped in because this is, you know, I'm learning a lot and I love what you're saying. It's great. This woman that I went to treatment with I was careful on how to say this, right? I don't want to break anonymity or anything. Anyways, this woman I went to treatment with, she had a really bad relapse and I was talking to her like a lot. And, you know, she was at the place where I was, hotel room by myself, family abandoned you, pissed off, right? And it's just you and your drugs and your alcohol. And I kind of I was like, don't talk to your family right now. Just talk to us because I will never judge you. I get you. I'm here for you. You want to go to detox? I'll bring you to detox. Like I'm trying to do all these things because that's what was done to me. And when you're in that moment, it's like loneliness. You can't even, loneliness can't even describe that feeling. It's just, you're like, you know, this small in a world. Right. And so, you know, I was talking to her the other day and I'm like, are you doing this? Are you doing that? And I wasn't like checking up on her to make sure she was doing anything, but I'm like kind of just listening to her. She's like, oh, I don't know if I, you know, I have this thing. And like all these excuses started to come back. And I'm just like, it reminds me of just how powerful this disease is. It's like you were just, and this happened to me too. And, you know, I'm not trying to project anything, but I was just in the darkest depths of hell. And then somebody tells me like, I should probably go to a meeting. And I'm like, yeah, I'm busy that night. Right. But I do it all the time. It's so cunning, baffling, and powerful.
It's cunning, baffling, powerful, and it's progressive.
Yeah, progressive. Yeah.
I think there's a lot of people that need to keep in mind that if it's bad in your 20s, it gets worse in your 30s, harder in your 40s, and it just gets progressively worse. And I've also been told, I'm so fortunate that as of today, I have had no relapses since I got sober. But I've been told it gets worse when you go out. Yeah. Like the next time, I'll leave it at that. Yeah. It gets worse.
And I'm a proponent of that. Like I'm an example of that. It does. You know, you try new drugs. I never thought, you know, benzos were never my thing. And I was getting too high on stimulants. So I was like, oh, this benzo thing seems interesting. I need to control my state again because my anxiety, if you've ever done stimulants, your anxiety is just like through the roof. You're like, I need to balance this. And then it becomes this, you become this like doctor, right? And that's what happened. It's like every day I was like buying. Yeah. A chemist. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And then my whole thing was I got on the dark web and like it was bad. I was getting drugs shipped to my house. Okay. But yeah, I can confirm that it does get worse. Yeah. And I'm lucky I'm not dead. Right. So, but yeah, life is good today. Not to get too dark, but it is serious. There is a lot of, you know, darkness.
That's just it. Yeah. And I think it's funny. It's serious, it's dark, it's all of those things. But when you actually walk into a room like the rooms that we're a part of, what is it? We're not a glum lot. Yeah. Like it's just like there's such light and beauty in sobriety, and I think that's one of the things I just really want to emphasize.
Yeah. Fun and recovery is a good one.
Yeah,
you know, a lot of people come in. The wedding thing is a big one. How am I going to drink on this day or that day? But how do you have fun in recovery?
Ooh. Fitness is a great thing that I really throw myself into. Fun. I find work fun. I think what the biggest thing for me though is I am now a present aunt, daughter, girlfriend, like you name it. Like I'm a present and I'm like actively involved in my relationships. I have a new group of friends. They're all also sober. Yeah. Like that is what I do for fun. I go out for mocktails a lot because I love the restaurant scene. I love that kind of
the buzz around it.
The buzz, the atmosphere. I'm not the person that couldn't look at a bar for, you know, a year. Like I can actively go into those settings and feel comfortable. So that part of my life is huge for me. It's my relationships. I have fun no matter what I am doing, whether it's a cottage, whether it's again, something just by myself, running, fitness, whatever it may be. I'm able to find joy in it because I don't have this weight of alcohol on me anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, you're not a slave anymore, right? Yeah.
That's perfect.
It's like the chain analogy, the ball and chain. Yeah. Just everywhere you go, you're dragging it around.
The weight of that is exhausting.
And then you get sober and there's this freedom and you have all this free time and you're like, I don't know what to do now.
And idle time is nerve-wracking. Yeah. And I love that you mentioned the walks. I go on what I call mock and walks, where I have a team spirits and I just drink away or a wake water or something, and I go for a walk, and that's kind of my meditation, I think is a good way you put it. Yeah. To clear up that free time that I have now.
Love it. Mm-hmm. It's a beautiful thing. That's awesome. I'm going to ask you some quick questions, and then just a few, but say, I guess the first thing that comes to your mind.
This is where I get myself in trouble. I'm like, I'm ready.
They're not like, they won't get you in trouble. Maybe they will. Yeah. It's funny. Sorry, quickly. I was on another podcast and the girl that was doing it did a similar thing. And the first thing I said, I was like, oh, don't judge me. I'm sick.
Yeah.
I was just thinking the same thing.
Preface everything with, by the way, I am an alcoholic.
My first thought is not the best.
Yeah.
What's your favorite non-alcoholic cocktail?
Team Spirits.
What flavor?
Our Paloma.
Oh, okay. Paloma.
It's delicious.
Awesome. Yeah. I like the Moscow Mule just because I like ginger.
Oh, do you now?
Yeah. I love it. What's the first thing you do in the morning? What's your morning routine?
The first thing I do is I check my phone, but I'm going to change that now. I'm going to change that. Nice. That was my a key takeaway from this.
I'll hold you to it.
But then it's the gratitude piece. Yeah, like I open my eyes, I'm like, yeah, thanks. Nice. Got up today.
Yeah, I love it. What's a book or a resource that changed your life?
The Big Book.
Yeah, nice. Me too. I'm just thinking about what to do with that after, but I agree.
Yeah, let me know if it goes.
Every time I read it, it's like, was this always in here? Yeah, I've been reading for 10 years. And I'm like, I've never read this passage in my life. One that's coming up to mind right now, and I'll just say it because I love it, is like, there's a story at the back that the guy was a doctor and he was using narcotics to like kind of manage his own thing. And, you come in and a lot of people are like, we only talk about alcohol and stuff like that. And then I look at that, I'm like, well, a lot of people were using sedatives and drugs. Like, no, I belong here, right? Yeah. And it's true. You do belong.
Yeah,
right? It's all the same shit. It's just the way we use it. But he talks about using up his right to chemical peace of mind. That line right there, this last time, that spoke to me so loudly.
Isn't that funny? It was always there.
Yeah.
It was always there. The book did not change. Well, there's different versions. You changed.
Yeah,
I love that.
Yeah. We don't talk about that new version. I haven't read it yet, actually, but I don't like change.
Yeah.
It was fine the way it was. Yeah. That's a whole other issue that we'll get to one
on the
day.
Next episode. Yeah.
Anthony's gripes with the world. Yeah. Man shakes fist at clouds. Yeah. Oh man, that's awesome. I had so much fun. Where can we find you, Jordan?
I think I'm like, here's my address.
And I'll link it in the show notes.
Fabulous.
I want to hear you talk about
I think the best way to connect would be on Instagram, either at Jordan Quinstagram or at Drink Team Spirits.
Love it.
Yeah.
I love it. That's awesome. Thank you so much. I had a lot of fun today.
I had so much fun. Yeah, this was great.
The universe brings people together.
It
and
does.
I think
fabulous.
We're a lot alike. Yeah. So I appreciate that. I need the reminder that there's people like me, and I'm not saying that you're sick, but we think very similar, and it's just nice to know that I'm not alone.
100%.
And you're not alone either, right? So awesome. Thank you.
Thanks for listening. Please help us grow the channel and like, share, and subscribe for more content. The discussions and stories shared on this podcast are for informational and motivational purposes only. This content is not a substitute for professional medical advice, addiction treatment, or therapy. If you or someone you know is struggling with addiction, please consult a licensed physician, addiction specialist, or mental health professional. You are no longer alone.